Yo, 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 what's up, chat? Mr. Overthinker, what's up, buddy? How was your weekend, man? How was everybody's weekend? I hope it was good. I hope it was good. It's good to see you guys. 13th of June, baby. Working towards another weekend. Back to Valheim today. This will be the last week. Bit busy? Good busy or bad busy, buddy? Um, so this is gonna be like last week of Valheim for us. So we're gonna push, try to progress as much as possible, get ourselves into the plains, start grabbing some of that plains loot, and go after the last boss. I think on Friday. Oh, cool! Right on, Overthinker. Cool, man. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Um, so outside of that, we have obviously the news this morning, which we'll be getting to very soon. We have the okay, that's weird. We're gonna go back and watch. We didn't stay live yesterday. I decided to go ahead and skip the last showcase yesterday so I could take some time to chill out with my family for the rest of Sunday. Excuse me. We're gonna go after the news segment today. We will watch the VOD of the PC Gaming Show showcase, and then today at the end of the day we have Capcom. Okay, so oh dude, psych. Yeah. Uh, I don't know that we'll watch Capcom today. It's starting fairly late. So we'll do the same thing tomorrow that we're doing today. So tomorrow we'll watch the Capcom showcase is just starting super late for our stream time and everything. Like 5 p.m. here. So we wouldn't even get to start this showcase until roughly 11 hours into the stream. So we probably won't watch it today. But we'll watch Capcom the same way tomorrow that we're watching the PC Gaming Show today. So, it's okay. I mean, it just means we're not going to watch it live. We've watched most of these live, so it is what it is. Sometimes they're just outside of the streaming times for us. So, it doesn't mean we won't watch it. We're just not going to watch it live. So as soon as we start up the stream tomorrow, we'll do news, and then we'll watch the VOD of the Capcom showcase, okay? We watched a lot of showcases this weekend, even on Friday, and we've gotten most of them live, but sometimes they're just a little bit late for us, so we'll just watch them the next day, which is what we're doing today with the PC Gaming Show. So let's get into news. Then we will watch the PC Gaming Show VOD from the showcase they had yesterday, and then we'll just play Valheim all day, okay? And it'll kind of be the same exact schedule tomorrow. Yeah. So, I don't know. We got to start trying to get into the plains, progress in there. We've already found the boss in Valheim. So, for the plains, the 5th boss, we've already found where to summon it. We just have to kind of get prepared for that, yeah? Let's do what we do. Let's go ahead and hop into our gaming news segment, all right? Here we go, here we go. Motor, yeah. Yep. Killed on Friday. Mm-hmm. Yep. Took it out on Friday. Myself, Pinky, Varia, and Sayek. Yep. Which again, I mean, we've kind of got a schedule. The first fight was absolutely brutal for me. I got drilled. I didn't know what I was in for, obviously. So I got drilled by the boss. It slowed me down incredibly. I got stuck in this little like crater, and I was trying to get away. And once I finally was not frozen anymore, I kind of jumped into a big kind of quarry that we had dug out for silver, and I died. And then every time trying to get back, it was just like shenanigans, man, trying to get back to my body. So the first fight was mainly taken out by Pinky and Varia, but then we kind of did more preparation for fighting it again. We fought it twice. So the second time we summoned it, we actually built up some pillars out of the ground, and we made sure everybody was all locked and loaded, as it were, ready to go, and it was a much better experience. Yeah. Um, I'll say that the boss feels it looks weird on the ground. The boss, I think, needs a little more optimization. It looks like you can kind of just kite the boss around in a circle while hitting it, and it kind of gets locked into these like looping circles and stuff, which was kind of weird. Um, but it's as with most things in the game. Yeah, the pillars made the fight boring. Yeah, they made it much easier. Yeah, they made it much easier. Yep. But I mean, that's one way to go about taking out that that boss for sure. I mean, I wouldn't have really thought about doing that. It was Varia that kind of started it, and then we rolled with it, right? And what's up, Pinky? Um, it's a good play, dude. It's a very safe play in taking out that boss. So, I mean, I could see like if you were doing it solo, running those pillars is a very safe way to take down that boss. I think what I would rather see is like them try to incorporate some kind of mechanic for the boss where if there's any kind of altered terrain or rock slash altered terrain, anything built by the player, the boss can destroy it, right? Because that was the thing in the first place was like I was like, oh, I'll just hide behind this like rock, right? Well, the boss started destroying the rock, and that's where I kind of panicked and accidentally jumped into the quarry and died the first time. Um, Whereas apparently, if you build the land up, the boss can't destroy the land, right? And um, I don't know. Maybe a better play is to because yeah, I mean, it definitely felt very easy and kind of a boring fight that second time through. When all you have to do is just build up a bunch of pillars out of the ground with your tools. Just elevate the ground up as high as you can. It builds these big pillars, and the boss can't do anything, man. You know, makes it pretty easy. But nonetheless, we got it taken care of, and first fight was brutal. Again, Pinky and Varia really handled that first one. Cheers, coffee. Uh, and the second fight was much more planned, as it were. But we got it done. We're going to progress, and we've got a week to get towards killing the fifth boss on Friday. Then it'll be Planescape Torment for the next week after that, for the week after this, and then Witcher 3, man. So we've got things on the schedule. That's why we kind of need to press and get through the Valheim content. At least what's in the game so far. There are new more content updates coming, but at this point we just need to get through what we can get through, which is the main parts of the game, and move on to what we have coming next. All right, let's get in this news. Game Pass releases for the next year announced. Just go watch the just go watch the Xbox Bethesda showcase, the Microsoft Bethesda showcase. You'll get a good look at and they make sure you know. They make sure you know everything in there that is going to the Game Pass. Okay, so they make sure that you are aware. Let's see this. League of Legends, Wild Rift, Runeterra, Valorant, and other Riot games are coming. Ellipses, we'll see what that says. We kind of saw that yesterday. We'll take a look. Um, let's look at the Verge real quick and just get a quick recap of what the Xbox Bethesda showcase gave us yesterday. I wasn't super impressed, to be honest. Most of the other showcases, I feel like were more impressive than the Xbox Bethesda showcase, in my opinion. There are a couple of cool games. There are a couple of cool games that I feel like we'll probably dive into, but I wasn't super impressed. We'll see what this Elden Ring update brings. I'm not gonna look at this yet because we're gonna watch this morning. I've already got it pulled up. Okay, so we've got it right here. Or I had it. Where are their videos at, dude? It's gonna be somewhere. Okay. Well, this is where it was streaming from live yesterday. Oh wait. Yeah, there we go. We got it. We got it up. We'll watch it. So I'm not gonna dive into PC gaming show articles yet because I want to watch it first before we dive into any articles that talk about it. New Half-Life Alex levitation gameplay makes the wait for we'll see. We'll see what that is. No, oh Pinky. Oh no, man. Pepe hands, dude. What's wrong, dude? What's wrong? Nice overthinker. I like that one. Cool cat. Yeah. D4 closed beta pre-registration is now open. We'll take a look at that. Well, let's take a look at this. Diablo 4 tries to dodge immortal criticisms with cosmetic only microtransactions. I knew they were gonna do that, but at this point, dude, with what they've that company, dude, in my opinion, this is the same thing they should have done with Diablo Immortal. Just made it like cosmetic microtransactions, stuff like that, you know. And instead, they just made themselves look even worse to the gaming community than they already did. I mean, honestly, I think the best thing about Xbox Bethesda showcase was getting to go, hey, that's hot towered. Night Dive reveals a perfect. Yeah. I don't want to dive into this yet. There's a lot of stuff about the PC gaming show that we're gonna watch, so I'm trying not to dive into those. Golden Eye homage, Agent 64 has left me shaken and stirred. Let's take a look at that. We'll probably end up pulling up some of these that have to do with PC gaming show, anyways, just on accident. But it is what it is. We've talked about these. Japanese gaming giant Nexon plots global expansion. We'll take a quick look there. Nope. We're gonna see this. Yeah, we saw this yesterday. 3 legendary Persona games coming to Xbox and Game Pass. Yeah. So people that have been wanting the Persona games on console or on Xbox, they're coming. Yeah. Yo, we actually found out about this yesterday, but if you're not aware, you can get Ark Survival Evolved free on Steam right now. It was also free at some point, I think last year on Epic, but you can get it free. They've announced Ark 2. I was pretty sure we were already aware that was in development, but at this point, it was like big news Ark 2 is coming. It was showcased yesterday. And for right now, you can get Ark Survival Evolved for free on Steam. So if you're interested in checking it out, now is the time. Go grab that game. It is for free. For free. We saw this that the Apple Cloud gaming ban ruled anti-competitive in the UK. We already read about this, but that's really good stuff. I'm glad. All right, let's pivot here for a moment. Xbox has listed 50 games coming to Xbox and PC over the the next year. Um, so we'll take a look at that. We already know that Ragnarok is planned for November. That's awesome. Bring it to PC at the same time as PlayStation. That would be even better. I don't think they're going to, but that would be great. Yeah, we already talked about the Xbox or the a lot of the Netflix stuff, some of the Netflix stuff, specifically Dragon's Age animated series coming, some of its new games and things like that. We'll get a better look coming up, probably middle of the week. We'll look up because they've been Netflix has been doing Geeks Week all week long and stuff, and we'll get a comprehensive view. This game looks cool. This the creator of Rick and Morty are have announced the first. This is one of the cooler games I saw out of the showcase from Xbox Bethesda yesterday. This looks pretty neat. We've read about these and this. Hit on that. Uh, uh, uh. Beginner's Guide to Video Gaming, Hardware, Software, Everything in Between. This probably would have been a very good article for the individual that came in yesterday and was trying to see if anybody had any kind of guidance and advice for them buying a new PC. Um, it might have been a good one right there. What I'll say again, anybody interested in that kind of stuff, if you're not educated on technology in general, especially on the gaming front, and you're looking to get bigger into gaming and outside into like especially the computer space where hardware becomes much more of an issue as far as customization and what you're wanting to get out of a gaming rig, you've got to do your own research. I mean, ultimately, unless I mean, I would say unless you know somebody close to you that is willing to just sit down and spend a significant amount of time, like holding your hand through all of that, um, you're really just going to have to educate yourselves. That's there's a lot that goes into it, and if you actually want to know about it and make an educated decision on what you're looking to do to get yourself further into, especially the PC gaming space, you're going to have to learn. You're going to have to do an amount of self education as far as that's concerned. People can kind of guide you in the right direction, but there's a lot to it. And ultimately, it's not that hard. It's just it's going to take a little bit of time for you. We've talked about Axie Infinity quite often. I'm not going to dive into that. Yep, we've got a guide up. So basically, the big event coming up that we still have for the summer gaming showcases as far as this month is concerned. There's a few more in July and August that are slated right now. But as far as what we have, uh, today is Capcom. We will watch the VOD again. We'll watch the VOD tomorrow after the news because it's a bit late for us as far as stream time goes. And then tomorrow there is the extended Xbox uh, showcase. So we'll get another look at more Xbox stuff, things like that on Tuesday. Okay, tomorrow. We've talked about this, and we talk not just because of this article. This is a subject we hit on quite often. The fact that video games are getting too expensive, whether it be upfront costs, pay to win types of scummy mechanics. I mean, you name it across the board. It's feeling very very bad as a whole. Talked about that. This is great. We hit on that already too, though. Okay, this Alters is a new game about life changing decisions. Apparently, it's on the PC Gaming Show, so we will watch it after the new segment. Okay, we'll see it. Last page here. We've hit on this a lot here lately. It's important to note this that the world is trying to once again use video games as a scapegoat for violence being the catalyst behind people um, performing violent acts. And it's just not the case. Nobody wants to blame what the real underlying issues are here, whether, which a lot of it is just people inherently that conduct these or perform these acts have issues, right? And then combine that with the fact it's easy for them to get a hold of high powered weapons and things like that. It just exacerbates the potential for these bad things to happen, and they continue to happen at a more constant pace, especially here in the U.S. So it's not video games, man. The the thing that sucks, man, so bad for me is like I used to be such a Blizzard fanboy, as it were. Back in the day, I played so much. Like StarCraft and Warcraft and Diablo 1 and Diablo 2 and since then, for me, that company has just continued to like kind of spiral down and turn into this big corporate juggernaut of horrendous tactics and obviously now we know that like internally the business has just been mismanaged forever with toxic work environment and uh, bigotry within things like that, and especially with the latest stuff that we've seen from Blizzard with their release of Diablo Immortal. uh, it's like anytime I see their name, I just cringe, man. Anytime I see the name Blizzard, I just cringe at it. And um, the thing that sucks is like I'm so very passionate about like how much that company meant to me when I was younger. And I wasn't a big fan of Diablo 3, but I still had hopes that they could turn it around in Diablo 4. And I mean, at this point, I don't even want to support that company. Again, I hope that Microsoft buying them really does help turn that company around with the way they conduct business internally. Also, by helping to turn around a lot of their tactics and um, revamping a lot of their older IPs and stuff like that. Um, at this point, man, I don't feel like I can support that company at all. It's just an absolute scumfest, man. Yep, yep. A lot of this we've already seen. Talked about that. Talked about that. Talked about that. We often talk about these reports that come out about positive things with gaming, negative things in gaming, and I mean, like TLDR, as with anything in life, moderation, man. Learn how to incorporate it in your life in a way that doesn't negatively affect you. um because I think that's ultimately the biggest thing about video games and their potential to have a negative influence on somebody's life is not what you're exposed to within the games, because that's why we play video games. It's an escape, it's a release from what we often deal with in real life. It allows us to play out some fantasy, kinds of things like, you know, being a warrior in some crazy land and, stuff like that, right? I mean, it's an escape from what our lives are in reality, and that's what makes it fun for us. But so it's not necessarily the content and that was just an example, but it's not necessarily the content. What's up, Mamselle? Good morning, my friend. How are you? It's literally the potential for games to take over somebody's life to the point where they're not taking care of their responsibilities, and because there's the potential there for people to become addicted to video games, like they can become addicted to anything else in life, right? Um, so I think ultimately, when it comes to the negatives of video games, that's the big thing to be weary of, and is making sure you're incorporating it in your life to a point that it's consumed in moderation and doesn't affect responsibilities and anything else, and whether it be like hygiene or sustenance, eating. We've seen people that have died from playing games for too long because they weren't hydrating, they weren't eating, and things like that. And so that's the main thing. Just be very wary of that. Whatever EA and Blizzard releases will never end. Why? Well, that's exactly what I'm getting at, right? Is like I can't, right? I mean, that's the way, and that's why. I mean, it's the same thing with like Square Enix. I've gotten to. I will not say that Square Enix is. Blizzard is like at the top of my list of like scummy developers at this point, and Square Enix has not felt very good for a long time for me either, but not to the extent of Blizzard. But I'm still like, I want to play Final Fantasy VII Remake really bad, and I don't feel like I can support that company. I mean that's a very important question and statement there, gamer. It's like there are a lot of these things that come up quite often in the industry that we're also passionate about and we love so much that it's and quite often these issues come up with these big, massive, money hungry juggernaut developers, whereas the indie developers, that's why we love indie developers so much, right? Because they have allowed us to still have hope for the industry. Yeah. Not that all massive developers are as terrible as, say, Blizzard, Activision, but they all to an extent end up getting in this very, money hungry tunnel vision that it's like no longer about providing us with good content or creating quality content in their games necessarily, as much as it is how much money can we make, and I mean, if we ever want it to stop, we have to quit supporting those devs. That's all there is to it. If we ever want it to stop, we would have to be on a united front, virtually as a community of game lovers and community of gamers to quit supporting those companies. Yeah, absolutely, dude. Absolutely. And that's the thing that unfortunately makes it. I mean, the reality of the situation is that it just won't happen, right? But I'll continue to do my part, and yeah, exactly, yeah. Um, because I am passionate, and if I get to a point where I have really, really read and heard and seen enough about a company, a developer that just makes me cringe like the way I do about Blizzard. As much as I want to try Diablo 4, I won't do it because I don't want to support that company. And again, my hope for them is that with Microsoft purchasing them, it will turn them around a good amount, But again, that's another large corporation that, of the large corporations, I'll say I've seen some decent stuff just in regards to the way Microsoft is approaching video games, and the fact that they still they put out statements that they're about trying to make sure that people are still having fun with their games and things like that, which a lot of big developers have lost. So I don't know, man. Yep, we know. I'll find out what people think about it. Here's the thing, it's not just about it's not always just about whether you are paying for it or not, right? That's the main thing. But player base numbers in a game also contribute to how successful a company looks and feels. And for me, with what Blizzard stands for, I don't really want to be touching any of their games. The last one I did, I tried the beta for D2. I tried the beta for D2 Resurrection. I played just a tad bit of it. I didn't even stream it. And I didn't want to stream it because, and look, Diablo 2 is one of my all-time favorite games. So it was very, very difficult. That's the thing that's really rough for me is when it comes to Blizzard, things like that, right? D2 is one of my all-time favorite games, so I found it very hard to resist at least trying the beta out. And so I did, but I didn't stream it. I don't think I streamed any of it. And this was also when a lot more stuff was coming to light about about Blizzard and their internal issues with the way that business had been conducted for such a very long time. And I tried it very briefly just to see what the game looked and felt like, and it's tough for me, man. It is. But just because the game is free to play doesn't mean that Mamzelle, you came in a little bit late. I've already been talking about that. I've already been talking about that. You're a bit late to the party. So I'm readdressing things with you since you just came in. We've already been hitting on this. I'm not going to dive back into it. Understand that just because a game is free to play and you're not paying money doesn't mean you're not supporting that company anymore either. Okay, because you're still showing up as a contributing number to the player base that is in that game, and that helps that corporation. So understand that. No, you're good. You're good. You're good. I'm just saying I'm not going to dive back in. I'm not going to sit here and like repeat myself because I've already talked about it. Yeah. So I'm well aware that they've been bought out by Microsoft, and TLDR, what I said is hopefully Microsoft does a good job at turning that business around. Until then, I'm not going to touch any of Blizzard's stuff. I'm not going to do it. That's me personally. That's how I feel about it, and I'm very passionate about gaming. Blizzard was one of my favorite developers for a very long time. But they're scum right now. They are absolute top-notch scum. Everything I hate about the gaming industry and corporations and everything, they represent the absolute scummiest crap in the industry. All the way around. The way they've conducted their business over the years that we found out about, this kind of Diablo Immortal crap coming out, I'm not going to support them. If I, as a gamer, enjoy Diablo games, and I do play them, does that... I'm not yelling. I can yell if you want to yell. I can get louder. Trust me. I'm not yelling right now. Gamer, were you finishing out a statement there? Get yelling only stream? If we do a yelling only stream, we're gonna do ASMR stream as well. You guys ready for that? And look, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna get a little bit louder and a bit more brash whenever I talk about something like this because I'm very passionate about it, right? So yeah, I get a little bit hyped about this topic, you know. So I apologize if it comes off as me yelling. Trust me, I'm not yelling right now. I always talk loud while I'm streaming because I need to make sure that I'm coming through very nice on my microphone for one, because I use background. I use software that drowns out background noise. And if I don't get loud enough, it'll drown me out too. It's very good. It works very well. but I have to make sure that I maintain. So I'm already speaking loud, and then when I get passionate about something, I tend to get a little bit more intense. So if it comes off as yelling, I apologize. But trust me, I'm you'll know if I start yelling. Do you feel that because a gamer plays the Diablo games that I agree or stand by for what they think on a personal level, if I just play the game and not buy anything in their game shops, again, I mean, that's the really tough thing for a lot. It's even tough for me. The fact that no, I don't believe that. I don't believe that if you play their games, you're going. I love Blizzard. I support Blizzard. I don't think that's the case. Ultimately, what it comes down to is that they have created a lot of great games in the past. A lot of people like some of their more recent games like Overwatch, right? A lot of people like Overwatch, and ultimately for us, that's what we're looking for from games, right? Is the things that we find to be very enjoyable entertainment wise. So in that, I would say no. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are trying to lift that company up, okay? But it still does. Does that make sense? Um, because again, even if you're not paying monetarily for their things, especially if you're paying money to them, that is absolutely supporting them in a monetary fashion. But just being in a game like Overwatch, for instance, which they absolutely, not just them, but the gaming industry keeps tabs on what their active player base is, right? And the more active player base they have, the better it looks for that company. So to an extent, even playing the games as a free to play player is helping their company out. Does that make sense? And no, I don't think that just because you play their games means you support them, but it's not also showing that you're against their company either. You know what I mean? I guess that's what I'm really trying to get at there. Is for me personally, I'm at the point where I can't stand them anymore. I don't want to be a part of anything that has to do with supporting Blizzard. I just don't. And the thing that sucks about that is that not everybody that works at Blizzard is a part of the like terribleness that is going on there, right? There's probably a lot of really, really good, nice people that work there. But ultimately, what that company stands for has gotten me to the point of where I don't want to have anything to do with showing any kind of support for that company at all. Does that make sense? Yeah, I mean yeah, Pinky perfectly stated. I mean, there are all kinds of different ways, and I mean, even being a free to play player in their games is absolutely, helping their company out, right? It just is. And I don't think many people look at it like that. I think most people, gamers, they look at it as like, well, I'm not spending money, so I'm not actually supporting them, and that's not the way it works. That's untrue. Um, People need to look at things a bit more outside the box there, where just because you're not dishing them a bunch of money doesn't mean you're not helping out that company by adding to, you know, the numbers that help that company out, right? It just is the way it is. And personally, I'm just at the point where I don't feel comfortable supporting them anymore. And yeah, Microsoft is buying them, and we'll see how that turns out. I'm hopeful. I've said this from the very first day the report came out that Microsoft was buying Activision Blizzard, and I stated it's not a great thing for the competitiveness within the gaming industry, right? But if big companies are going to get bought out by bigger companies, I saw this as one of the best case scenarios potentially to have a company like Microsoft come in and buy a terrible company like Activision Blizzard and hopefully be able to turn it around. I've been saying that the entire time. We found out from the very beginning of us finding out that they were getting bought out by Microsoft. So we'll see. We'll see. It doesn't mean it will, but hopefully it will. I'm surprised nobody gave me a hey, shut up, you know. But so I do apologize. I do get on a bit of a rant there, especially when it comes to these developers that they had such a prominent role in me becoming so passionate about gaming in the first place, and to watch these developers turn into these just juggernaut companies that are just so scummy, man, and stand for basically everything that I despise about the gaming industry. It hurts, man. I hate it. We'll move on. I do apologize. Yeah, or autocorrect. Yeah, autocorrect's a really good one too. All right, so again, we're gonna go through these articles, right, and then we're gonna go watch the what is it, the PC gaming show that we missed from yesterday. Okay, so in between news, we'll finish up news, and then we'll go watch that. Okay. Yo, Sack should be getting home, right? I think Sack should be getting home, man. I hope his travels went okay. Tangent rant, yeah. OA rants. That's what we need to do. We need to start like a hashtag about OA rants, and we'll just set up a dedicated channel on YouTube called OA rants, and I'll just put all of the highlights and clips from me ranting into that YouTube section. Does that work? That way, everybody can just leave comments all the time to say, "OA, shut up! OA, shut up!" All right, new Half-Life Alex levitation gameplay makes the wait for Half-Life 3 much easier. In 7 uncut minutes of footage, watch Alex take on the Combine, a Strider, and maybe spot the G-Man. When we last saw Alex Vance, she was being hired by interdimensional talent recruiter G-Man, who locked her in stasis pending her next assignment at the end of Half-Life Alex. Ordinary G-Man stuff, no big deal. Officially, we don't know when that assignment will take place. We don't know if the next Half-Life game will be a VR title or a desktop game, when it might come out, or if Valve is even actually working on it. Half-Life 3 or even Half-Life Alex 2 is still frustratingly unconfirmed. We might be in for a long, long wait. But in the meantime, we have Levitation to look forward to. It's a mod for Half-Life Alex, created by CSGO map designer and artist Sean Snelling, animator and G-Man meme generator Corey Ladeau, and other volunteer modders, animators, and voice actors. This free new campaign is a DLC-sized action adventure that will last between 4 to 5 hours. As shown at the PC, that's what I figured. As shown at the PC Gaming Show, here's a 7-minute single-take gameplay trailer that looks just as exciting and polished as the actual game. We're not going to watch it right now because we're watching the PC Gaming Show. Sight, what's up, dude? Thanks, buddy. What's up, dude? Finally, somebody hooked it up. Syek, how are your travels, buddy? It's good to see you. Um, so we're gonna get to see this among many other things. I tried to skip a lot of articles this morning actually that had to do with PC Gaming Show because we're gonna watch it next. Okay, good. Back in German. Why? German? Why? Cool, man. Back in Germany. Cool, man. Did you have a great vacation? Was it really good? It had to be pretty decent. You got to go see Mamzelle, right? That's cool. That's cool. That's really neat that like had lots of fun. Good. It's pretty neat that just you know we've already had people meet up. Pretty cool. I figured Mamzelle was at least pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah. Um it's kind of neat, man. That like even only after a year of the channel being live and us doing this and building this community, we've already had two members of our community that man, so we've already had two people that have like met up in real life, dude. That's awesome. That's so cool. So good stuff, man. I'm glad you made it home safe, buddy. Glad you made it home. Mamselle. As the original teaser trailer for Levitation showed, two members of the human resistance have discovered a bizarre floating apartment building in City 17. The Combine are clearly once again up to no good, and Alex is on the case, with the action picking up just after the continuity bending finale of Half-Life Alex. Quote, the basic premise involves Alex receiving a distress signal from two resistance members, Maya and Barry, about secret Combine technology buried within a section of the quarantine zone known as Sector X. Corey Ladeau told me via email. Another quote, with the help of Russell, Alex dives deep into Combine territory to investigate this threat and search for Maya and Barry. It's a completely separate Half-Life adventure that uses Alex's ending as a springboard for the narrative. We'll see what the gameplay trailer shows. You guys are wild. Creating the VR mod posed a challenge for the Levitation team. According to Ladeau, it was far more complicated than past modding and mapping projects the creators have done before. There's not a ton of documentation out there for Source 2, unlike Source. I skipped some of that text above because it's talking about kind of what you're going to see or what you was seen in the trailer, and we haven't watched it yet. So we'll watch the trailer. Not a ton of documentation out there for Source 2, unlike Source, so we've been getting some very much appreciated help from talented modders within the Source 2 community in regards to troubleshooting, says Ladeau. With VR, it throws another spanner in the works as levels and animations have to be carefully constructed to make sure the player can't escape or see anything they shouldn't. It's been a very interesting experience as I have never animated for a game project before. Levitation features new characters like Alex's fellow Resistance members Maya and Barry, also has those aforementioned familiar faces. Considering the unlikeliness of recruiting the original voice actors, the Levitation team instead looked for replacements. Yeah. As for VR itself, Ladeau thinks it's still in its infancy but holds plenty of promise for the future. The hardware is constantly improving year by year. We've had a lot of quality games so far like Boneworks, which have really pushed the envelope for VR game design. I think the PSVR 2 could end up contributing strongly to VR's future. I agree. If it is a success, and may lead to more stabs at the platform by AAA developers. As for Valve's next move when it comes to Half-Life, Ladeau would be happy either way, if it's a VR title or a desktop game like the previous titles. If they can improve on their VR formula, I think Half-Life 3 could be unreal. However, a classic-style Half-Life game would be just as desirable, says Ladeau. I think we may still see Half-Life 3, but it's going to be a while, I reckon. Until then, at least we'll have Levitation to play with while we wait. Cool, man. Cool. So we'll see more of that in the showcase we watch here in a moment. All right. So if you're interested, again, as much as it pains me to not try this out, I'm just not gonna do this. We've talked about this, but I mean, for anybody that's interested, I'm still going to I'm going to give you the news. All right. Diablo 4 closed beta pre-registration is now open. Blizzard has quietly opened pre-registrations for D4 closed beta, allowing players to opt in for a shot at the closed beta when testing starts. To do so, all you need to do is head to the D4 website, click on a little pre-register button, then log into your Battle.net account for a chance to get picked as a tester. As of now, no date has been announced for the closed beta. It's the first we've heard about someone outside of Blizzard actually playing D4 in a bit, but it does track with the suspected release date of 2023. For more on that, check out everything we know about D4. Pretty low-key announcement for what should be one of Blizzard's tentpole series, but the Diablo brand name has been tarnished by association with Diablo Immortal. The recently released mobile game has attracted massive backlash due to its microtransactions, many of which can be described as predatory at best. This follows a tumultuous few years for Activision Blizzard at large, as a multitude of lawsuits attending harassment and abusive workplace allegations, as well as a theoretical acquisition by Microsoft, have made a once flawless reputation now quite well flawed indeed. Yep. So there you go, guys. I'll stop there. I've ranted enough today about Blizzard. Hey, shut your pie hole, buddy. GoldenEye homage. Agent 64 has left me shaken and stirred. Tribute goes all in one on nostalgia and pulls it off.
Hey, shut your pie
First
hole,
things
buddy.
first, there's no multiplayer. Sometimes you can't have everything, but what you can have is a shot on the newly released demo of Agent 64, a lovingly crafted homage to the Nintendo 64's classic GoldenEye, which is very long in the tooth now, but probably remains the best James Bond game ever made. I will say there was one on thanks, Syke. There was one on Xbox back in the day as well that was really, really good. I had a lot of fun. It was not Nintendo 64's GoldenEye, but there was a Bond game on Xbox, man, that was pretty legit. It was a lot of fun. Me and a lot of my buddies used to get down on playing the Xbox Bond game, man. I can't remember the name of it, but the game was out in early access later this year, was shown during the PC Gaming Show, so we're going to get a glimpse of it here very soon today. And developer Replicant D6 intends to release with 3 story missions and add more missions episodically until its launch proper. The missions are structured like GoldenEye with multiple difficulty modes that mix up and add objectives, and that goes for more or less everything about Agent 64. If you think these screens look a bit fuzzy, for example, that's because the game applies a visual filter that makes the display vaguely reminiscent of a CRT. The aesthetic follows the blocky layouts of the N64 original and incorporates elements that are instantly familiar. I had to smile when, halfway through the demo level, I had to drop into a toilet cubicle. That's funny. GoldenEye was built for an N64 controller, and elements of its gunplay, echo through into an Agent 64's M&K configuration, such as holding the right mouse button to fine-tune your aim. Certain elements of combat have been tightened up so you can fire faster, for example, and hip firing is perhaps more effective than it should be, which gives us a breezy and pacey feel that suits this kind of tribute project. Dude, they've got to get some multiplayer up in this. As a player, you just want that dopamine hit of the once treasured experience being relived. But often such projects get bogged down in exact recreations. Agent 64 feels like GoldenEye, it looks like GoldenEye, and it's built like GoldenEye. But it's also sensible enough to realize that following the template too precisely would probably be to its detriment as a contemporary experience. If you have any affection for the N64 classic, Agent 64 will leave you smiling. That's still cool. Again, I think them getting some kind of multiplayer in this would be insane. But we'll get to see a bit of it here in just a little while after the news segment when we watch the PC Gaming Show VOD. Let's see what this is. Japanese gaming giant Nexon plots global expansion. The Japanese creator of one of the longest running online role-playing titles is charting plans for overseas expansion. The company is one of the world's 10th largest video game companies by market capitalization, with its $22 billion valuation, larger than Take-Two Interactive, the company behind Grand Theft Auto or Roblox. Last year, it completed the acquisition of Stockholm-based Embark Studios, whose founder led development of the hit Battlefield franchise. In 2022, it invested $400 million US for a minority stake in AGBO, the independent studio founded by Anthony and Joe Russo, the creative duo who directed Marvel's Avengers Endgame and Avengers Infinity War. The idea overall with that is to combine what we're really good at, making a virtual world last and grow forever, with what they're really good at. Nexon's chief executive, Owen Mahoney, said. Nexon is working with AGBO to explore ways to extend its game franchises to film or television and develop virtual worlds or video games inspired by AGBO's movies. Our vision, which aligns well with Nexon's, recognizes that audiences have come to expect real immersion in the IP they care most about, AGBO CEO Jason Bergsman said. The two companies are in early talks on adapting Nexon franchises such as MapleStory and Dungeon and Fighter, which have rich lore and passionate fan bases. These talks are still in preliminary stages, cautions one source with direct knowledge of the situation. They're also discussing a game or virtual world inspired by Battle of the Planets, an iconic Japanese anime show from the 1970s that AGBO is developing as a feature film. Mahoney hopes to leverage Nexon's experience in operating live games, updating titles while they are running, to launch big budget titles with a Western sensibility, such as the free-to-play shooter game Arc Raiders from Embark Studios. Embark's founder, Patrick Soderlund, who once led DICE, the company that developed the Battlefield franchise, and was acquired by EA when Mahoney was head of the mergers and acquisitions there. Nexon has assiduously avoided the frenzy around the metaverse that has gripped tech giants Microsoft and Facebook. Quote, nobody can define it, and most importantly, they can't define why it's so darn great, Mahoney said. It's a big nothing burger. Thank you! Dude, how many times have you guys heard me rant about this whole, all these companies going, oh, we're creating the metaverse, but they don't want to talk about anything new they're actually bringing to the table. The fact that the metaverse virtually just is a trending word that developers are using, which ultimately just stands for what they're already bringing to the table for us, right? And nobody's talking about that. All these developers just keep throwing the word out like it's something new they're bringing to the table for us to try to like be trendy, you know? And finally, dude, thank you. What a great quote. I'm going to read it again. Nobody can define it. And most importantly, they can't define why it's so great. It's a big nothing burger. Fantastic. Nobody wants a nothing burger. I want like a double or triple burger. You know what I mean? Because I'm fat. Nexon was an early adopter of features that have become common in the industry, including in-game virtual currencies and the free-to-play business model. These features were rolled out in games such as Nexon's Kart Rider racing game, which has been running for almost 2 decades, one of what the company calls its forever franchises. Its most popular franchise, the arcade-style fighting game Dungeon and Fighter, has earned more than 20 billion US since 2005, more than the combined box office proceeds of Star Wars or Harry Potter film franchises. That's wild. One big new challenge as part of Nexon's expansion will be to generate returns from higher budget Western games. Quote, Nexon does not have much of a track record in operating photorealistic games for hardcore gamers. Citigroup analysts wrote in March, initiating coverage of the stock at neutral. Nexon wants to control the cost of developing titles in an era when budgets top $100 million. For instance, it uses machine learning technology to animate some character actions instead of relying on workers. Bless you. Quote, I don't really care what happens in the first 1 or 2 quarters, Mahoney said. What I care about is what happens from years 2 to 20. Yo, this was a really good article, man. Cool. Right on, right on. Nice, nice. Xbox has listed 50 games coming to Xbox and PC over the next year. 43 of them will be available on Game Pass on day 1. Yo, to everybody that was hanging out yesterday and we watched the Xbox Bethesda showcase, it was like after every single trailer they showed, it was this big screen that came up for like, what, I don't know, 7 to 10 seconds, and it was like, coming to Game Pass day 1. It like literally turned into a meme here in the channel. It was like, it just couldn't stop, man. It was like, it was kind of brutal, man, having to see that after every single trailer. So here I'll read out the games coming in 2022. Okay. Full list of games confirmed is as follows. Games marked with an asterisk will be on Game Pass. So virtually all of them. Xbox and PC games coming in 2022. All right. As Dusk Falls, Atomic Heart. Dude, Atomic Heart looks really cool. So does the Callisto Protocol. Callisto Protocol is the game that looks very Dead Space, right? Callisto Protocol is actually developed by one of the original devs of Dead Space, and it looks really good. But it's definitely, you can see the roots of Dead Space. It's highly, highly influenced by Dead Space. Elder Scrolls Online High Isle, Fallout 76 Expeditions, The Pit, Forza, that's what we should just start calling it. Forza 5. Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels. This is the new DLC coming out. Grounded, Gunfire Reborn, Halo Infinite Season 3, Hello Neighbor 2, High on Life, Lightyear Frontier, Flight Simulator 40th Anniversary Edition, which also showed that there's going to be DLC for Halo Infinite for Flight Simulator. It looked kind of wild. Naraka Blade Point, Overwatch 2, Party Animals, Pentiment, Persona 5, Royale, I think, A Plague Tale Requiem, Scorn. We've known Scorn's coming for a while. This October. So basically, Scaretober this year is for sure Dead Space games and Scorn. That'll probably take up the most of the month, if not more. So we'll see. And then in November, the following month, we've got Ragnarok hitting. Hopefully on PC. I'm not real hyped about that actually happening right when it releases. I think it'll be on PlayStation first and then come to PC. But man, that would be great. Sea of Thieves Season 7, Slime Rancher 2, Somerville, Valheim. I've heard that's a great game. Warhammer 40,000, Dark Tide, Ara, History Untold, Ark 2, Cook, Dead Space, Diablo 4, Euden Chronicle 100 Heroes, Ereban, Shadow Legacy, Flintlock, Forza Motorsport, The Last Case of Benedict Fox, League of Legends Wild Rift, Legends of Runeterra, Minecraft Legends, Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden. Who was saying yesterday that somebody was saying that they were bent because League of Legends wasn't coming to console? I mean, this basically confirms that, right? We've got that article up too, so we'll take a look. Ravenlock, Redfall replaced RE4 Remake, Stalker 2, Starfield, Teamfight Tactics, Valorant, Wolong, Fallen Dynasty. There you go, guys. If you want to see this list, I'll throw it in chat real quick. There you go. League of Legends, Wild Rift, Runeterra, Valorant, and other Riot games are coming to Xbox Game Pass. So Game Pass, but is it actually going to be? Are they going to be playable on the console as well? While these games are already free to play, agents, cards, and champions are sometimes locked behind microtransactions. Yeah, but for players with Xbox Game Pass, these purchases will become free. Oh, really? What? The slate of Riot games was announced as part of the Xbox Bethesda showcase. Alongside the Riot titles, Xbox announced Hollow Knight Silksong. That was like the biggest thing for me. Super hyped about that. Super discouraged to not see Avowed. I literally put it on Twitter. The tweeter will be coming to Xbox Game Pass day one and release a new trailer for more. Yeah. So I would assume that means that these will be playable on Xbox, right? I don't have Game Pass, and I don't have an Xbox, dude. I would assume that it would only make sense. Yeah, the entire console, PC, or compatible mobile device. Oh, we'll find out, I guess, at some point. I would assume that those games coming to Game Pass would mean that you can play them on your Xbox as well. But I'm not positive. So we might have to do some digging to find out for sure. This game looks really cool, man. Rick and Morty's creator is making a comedic first-person shooter. And it looked pretty good. We saw, this was one of the other titles that, like, I was not familiar with this until we saw the showcase yesterday. And it looks pretty funny. It looks pretty funny. Really wild. And if you like Rick and Morty, I mean, I would assume that you're probably going to enjoy this just for its comedic value. Fans of Rick and Morty's bizarre and zany worlds have a new video game to look forward to. Justin Roiland and co-creator behind the raunchy animated series and later Solar Opposites announced a new first-person shooter called High on Life. It is being developed by the game studio he helped found, Squanch Games, and is scheduled to be released in 2022. The developers released a debut trailer for the game at the Xbox and Bethesda Game Showcase yesterday. High on Life is currently being developed for Windows, PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. Prior to this, Squanch Games developed the 2019 action platformer Trover Saves the Universe. That game follows a recent high school grad who becomes the most deadly bounty hunter in the universe after taking up arms to defend Earth from a horde of aliens trying to use humanity to make drugs. Instead of using a regular old gun, players will use talking guns that have unique personalities, attributes, and, quote, provide their own narrative take on what's going on, a news release said. Bounty hunters will work with or against NPCs, find upgrades, and collect more guns. Here's a more in-depth description of the game from developers. I'm not going to read that, but this is a quote from Royland. I wanted to make games that I wanted to play, and that was the spark that sort of lit the fire of Squanch Games, Royland said in a press release. Then we shipped Trover, we shipped Accounting Plus, and now we're on this absolute dream game that we're kind of building towards this whole time. From the looks of it, a lot of the emphasis will be on exploration and the different guns and their personalities. Below, you can view more screenshots of the game. Yeah, it looks really cool. And like even one of the guns is legitimately voice acted by the individual that does the voice acting for Morty. You know, so you're gonna hear a lot of the same voices, I think, out of the animated series within this title. It looks pretty wild. Looks really funny. Xbox and Bethesda Games showcase all the news from the event. Let's just skim this. Or not. So, Starfield. Persona 5 Royale and a couple of other Persona 5 or Persona titles are coming to Xbox, right? So, that was announced. Diablo 4, Overwatch 2, early access release date as well, and Hollow Knight, right? Within the next year, it'll be out by Tim Cherry. That was the big one for me. But I was not just like blown away by their showcase, to be honest. So I don't know. I saw some cool stuff. Elden Ring update 1.05, but this is going to be the last article, guys. So before I dive in here, if you have anything else that we didn't find in the our search this morning for news, let me know. All right, we are going to finish this up. Then we will move into watching the PC gaming show from yesterday and that showcase, and then we'll move into Valheim play for the rest of the day. Okay. Capcom is starting late today. It wouldn't start until I think 5 p.m. my time. So the stream's going to be down by then. And we'll watch the Capcom showcase as a VOD tomorrow, the same way we're doing PC Gamer Showcase today, okay? So in between news and getting into the Valheim gameplay, we'll watch Capcom showcase tomorrow. But if you have anything to add, anything we want to talk about for news before we end up the segment here, let me know in chat, okay? Elden Ring update 1.05 buffs makes your choice of Sacred Flask even more important. So Elden Ring update 1.05 dropped earlier today with an emphasis on bug fixes, but a few notable gameplay changes. From Software announced that online servers would undergo maintenance today, June 13th. With the culmination of that maintenance, the Elden Ring update 1.05 patch notes have dropped. Most of those patch notes are dedicated to bug fixes rather than gameplay, but there are a couple of tweaks that you should notice, particularly if you're running back through the lands between in New Game Plus. If you're perusing the wares of the Twin Maiden Husk, bell-bearing items you offer them will maintain, quote, their liberated status in New Game Plus. Previously, the items were not kept during additional playthroughs. Elsewhere, FromSoft has added emphasis to the choice of the Sacred Flask, several other options that can be strengthened in the Grace menu. Although it's not clear exactly how those changes have been made, finally, you'll get a slighter, better sense of what's happening around you during co-op, as the patch adds a sound effect when another player uses a summon sign. Several of the bug fixes are dedicated to certain skills not acting as intended, and a few more to issues with bosses including Melania, Radon, and God-Devouring Serpent. Others fix issues with certain sites of grace not appearing on your map, solve audio problems, and improve online stability between PS4 and PS5. Xbox players should also be happy as Update 1.05 also improves loading times on the Xbox Series S. Series X, excuse me. I haven't really kept up with where the PC version of Elden Ring currently stands from whenever we finished the game up. But I mean, I had seen some reports. Even there was a big patch that came out after we finished the game, and it was still nothing really about performance fixes for PC. It was just about bug fixes and stuff. I don't know where it stands now, but I would hope at this point they've fixed a lot of the PC issues and have gotten it more optimized, because it did not feel good at all. That's it for news, guys. That's it for news. I didn't see anything else come up in chat there, so we will work our way forward into watching the VOD for the PC Gaming Showcase that happened yesterday after the stream was already, we were down. And then we'll move on to Valheim play, okay? To everybody that's always part of what we do, thank you very much. Thanks for being here and contributing to the news segment. I appreciate it very much. If you're watching this as a VOD later on YouTube, then consider coming down and hanging out with us at 6 o'clock a.m. CST every single day, where we do these news segments at the beginning of every stream, okay? And if you're enjoying the content, do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. Potentially leave me a comment so we can have a bit of a discussion regarding some of these topics we went over today. Other than that, just stay healthy, stay safe, be kind to one another, and we'll catch everybody tomorrow for our June 14th edition of Video Gaming News, okay?